we will talk about the drones, the trend about the drones currently, but I would like to start globally and not locally at the moment. And first of all, sorry for the delay, this traffic, don't try out because it's a little bit something like a big traffic jam around here. So let's back to this one. Have you ever heard about the brand? I can show you the brand itself, where it is big enough. Brand DJI. Have you ever heard about it? Okay. Yeah, mostly this is the most well-known brand on drones at the moment, worldwide, globally, which is approximately, the market share of DJI is approximately 70% or a little bit more. It is measured by third parties, so not by us. The Hungarian example is a little bit more likely for me at the moment, which is approximately 90% here in Hungary, the market share of DJI, the DJI products. If you are talking about drones, I don't mean at the moment something like this, which is also a flying one with 4 propellers and some more functions, but drones mainly something for me, something like the Phantom series or the Mavic series. I will show you one. With a lot of built-in functions like vision positioning and autonomously positioning, return home functions, and all the others. But first, let me have a question for you. What do you think about the brand itself and the drone market itself? What do you think about it? Is it a growing one? Is it a stable one or decreasing? What is your opinion about it? If I may ask.
Growing?
Growing?
Actually,
okay, let's see if we would like to compare it to the previous year. By what is the percentage? What do you think? 70% globally.
Yeah.
Maybe or not, but but the current trend is, if we are talking about trends, that DJI's market is quite stable at the moment. So yes, increasing, but by lower volumes at the moment. We're talking about 10 or 15% globally. Globally means their local market, China, which is huge. So they are the biggest in China, and we are talking about 1 billion people there. So they always focus on their market, on the local market, and then the second biggest for them is the USA. Do you exactly know the current political situation? What is happening in the USA? I don't want to go to that direction because this is another cup of tea, but we can also feel this political moments here in Hungary as well, because currently DJI, the brand, focuses on the US market at the moment because they would like to fulfill the stock in the US before the highest duties will be quite ready in the US at the moment. So currently we are suffering by lack of stock because our market is a little bit different. Let's back to our experience. So I just would like to show you one page. Sorry for that. This is now something like I can mention to you. This is Duplitec is our company here in Budapest, and we are not exclusive, but we are the distributor of DJI consumer, enterprise, professional, and education and agriculture department here in Hungary. And this is okay. I know these figures are a little bit small, but something. Yeah, let me show it something like a hidden one. So this will be public now. But this is something how we grow here in Hungary, and this is also the trend in Hungary, and not only in Hungary but the neighbor countries too. I don't know why. I don't know exactly why, but for example, Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia and Hungary are very open for the new technologies carried by drones itself, and we can enjoy something like this here in Hungary too. So we could talk about, for example, consumer mainly, but today I would like to tell you some stories about the enterprise market and the education market, because, for example, I have this here. This is the so-called brand Tello. Maybe you have seen something like this before. And if you take a look at it, you can say this is a toy. This is something like something like a toy for children. Could you give me a hand and open it? Yeah, it is. It is something like this. So you will say this is a classic toy, but the next question would be why children would need something like this. Because this Tello, this education version of the Tello is totally about education and help teachers, help children to learn and to teach programming, coding, from the very beginning. I mean, from the primary school, for example. Yeah, you can take a look at this if you want. Because today we focus mainly on education with drones and with and for the enterprise sector with drones. Enterprise sector. Okay, let me also have another question. What do you think? Who is the most impatient? Or what is the most impatient sector in Hungary? Industrial sector. What is waiting for the technologies, the solutions carried by drones? Agriculture. Yeah, this is yes, exactly agriculture. We are talking about 80 for Hungarian. The total area of Hungary is 93,000. Yeah. Square kilometers, and 80% of this is growing field. 88% of the total area is growing field, which means, and today all about, if we are talking about agriculture, you will see that there are many events, for example, about the topic precision agriculture, and you can see also we have a cooperation, for example, with AgroInform. Maybe you heard about it. This is one of the most biggest platform in Hungary for agriculture, which is totally online, and they are all about precision agriculture at the moment. We also know that it is supported by the EU so much. So currently, somewhere there, when we started with Duplitec with consumer products end of 2016. Very soon we faced the situation that companies from agriculture sector come to us and ask us about what do you have for us, how could I solve this and this special kind of monitoring, for example. And today we are talking about spraying with drones. This is a hot topic at the moment because this is totally forbidden at the moment in Hungary, because this entity is about to decide to make a special category for drones, spraying with drones, because there are the regular ways, the big ones, you know, pulled by tractors and this kind of big vehicles, and the other one is aerial, but aerial is not so precise, so it could be harmful for rivers, for example, and for other plants around the growing field. But today we open for spraying with drones, and I think that it will be an existing thing next year. because we are also talking about legislation. This is a very important thing at the moment if we are talking about drones. So that was the biggest hurdle for us when we started, because enterprise department started, DJI's enterprise department started in 2017. It is so young. So DJI focused only on consumer products. So flying drones, the payloads were basically cameras. And after that, they realized that there is something here, another interest from the enterprise sector. And this is why they started enterprise drones, with enterprise drones and solutions in 2017. So we jumped in the enterprise business as well. And we also opened our recommended repair center, which is unique in Hungary and in the region too. And we started to combine some special solutions for agriculture. So we started with agriculture first, if we are talking about the agriculture sector itself. And now we have some kind of special solutions for them. I will show you some presentations if a little bit later on. And another question. What could be this one?
LiDAR?
Sorry?
LiDAR?
No, LiDAR is a little bit heavier and the size is a little bigger. No, this is not LiDAR. This is a special equipment. This is special payload for agriculture. It is called multispectral camera. So you can see 5 different cameras built in one payload. One is a thermal camera, and the other cameras try to collect the light what is coming back from the plants. So we have the light coming from the sun, of course, and it hits the plant itself, the leaves, for example, and we try to focus on the returning light, because what you can see with your eyes basically is what is in light at all. So if you can at a totally dark, if you are in a totally dark place, then you will see nothing, of course. So currently we are focusing on this one, on the returning light, and there are special so-called colors, for example, the special red, the special greens, and the infra lights too, what we collect with this camera, and we can gain information about growing field itself, if it's healthy, or is there any infection on the field? Is there any, for example, problems with the watering of the field? And after that, currently, our main problem is, which is funny, and why you cannot see so many drones over the growing field at the moment, that it is very hard to combine this technology with the spraying drones itself. So farmers, for example, came to us and asked us about how can I use it on autonomous way, and this is the very biggest concern about the drone technology itself for the farmers and for the industry too. How to solve the fully autonomous flight and fully autonomous gaining data, fully autonomous processing data, and after that fully autonomous connection with the spraying drone itself. So people don't want to hold the controller at all. They just would like to push a button on the keyboard. Let's, for example, let's start and fly the drone, and after that I would like to see that my problem is solved at all. I don't want to talk about which is the problem at all. I don't care as a farmer or as a member of the industry sector, I don't care that what kind of drone are we talking about. I don't want to hold remote control. I don't want to waste time, and I don't want to delegate people there to control the drone itself. I just would like to have the solution for my problem. This is not an existing thing. And you can take a look at that. And a question about it. What do you think? There's 4 stages. If you're talking about drones and trends, there are 4 stages of the development of the drones, the drone market. We are, I think, approximately at the entering level of the second one, because the first one, for example, hobbyists and people would like to use for something like taking pictures with drones. So not a professional way, on something like a recreational way. So they start with this first stage. The second stage is when we start the testing and gaining data itself, collecting as many data as possible. And after that, we would have the legislation, the complete legislation, not for only Hungary, because we are here in the EU, so we will need something like all EU legislation, which will be out very soon. I can confirm to you that you can also read articles about it now, but the new legislation will be with us maybe in October latest. Unfortunately, EU says that this is the basic, so we would like to see that kind of rules all over the EU. But you, as a member state of the EU, you can create stricter regulation if you want. And it would, I think the Hungarian one would be a little bit stricter. But on the other way, we are happy that we will have something what is something available for everyone, and it's a clear situation from now, because we started here, but unfortunately we stopped with developing the whole business somewhere here, because without any legislation, the companies, the big enterprises, the governmental sector itself were something like not able to move into the drone technologies and solutions carried by drones deeper, because this is funny, but the special police is not allowed to fly. If or disaster management is not allowed to fly at the moment if something bad happens, because the current rules in Hungary says that you need to sign approximately 30 days before you would like to fly your drones on that specific area of a certain area. So who the hell knows that, for example, a traffic incident will happen somewhere? So this is a big question, and from the perspective of enterprises, they all have, the big ones, all have something like legal department, and they always stop the whole project because there's no legislation behind. So currently, when I say that DJI is not growing so fast at the moment, I think it is not an unexpected thing for this year. This is not an unexpected situation for this year. This is totally expected, and we counted with this for this year. But next year, I think it will grow dramatically, starting from next year. But where is the end of the fourth stage? The very end of this whole story, or where can we meet the requirement? What, for example, the agriculture sector requires from us. What do you think? What will be the end? But when we will see autonomously flying and data collecting drones for example, or over the growing fields in Hungary? What could be the date? What do you think?
2030.
2030? The forecast says it's approximately 2040. 2040, so we have approximately 2.5 stages ahead. The next one will be about the semi-autonomous flying with drones, and the very end will be the totally autonomous flying with drones and data processing and using clouds and combining it with AI and some other solutions. So this is, DJI also says, and the international forecast also says it will be 2040. Is it good or not? That's another question. What I can see currently, that we need special solutions what are not available at the moment. I would like to compare to the PC market, for example. On the PC market, there is a platform, so-called, for example, Windows. Windows is basic for everyone at the moment. So that kind of basics are missing on the drone market currently. So there's no platform, an official platform for drones, because we are at the very end of, because we are at the very beginning level of the drone technology itself. Someone compares drone technology to the market of the mobile phones, and it could be a very right one, I think so, because it comes from the military sector, and now we are in the consumer sector with the drones. And currently, everybody asks about what is the next technology, what will give us a big boom in the technology of drones. And I think these two factors will be the legislation, and the other one will be the AI. The AI. This is why we started with education department. So basically, my current job, if you are talking about my current job and current tasks, I'm responsible for the general management of the company Duplitec and the company DJIs. But Duplitec and DJIs are well known like a retailer, right? Like a distributor supplies the retail needs. But currently, I focus on DJI Enterprise and education itself, because this is also about education. I really believe in coding, in programming. So someone told me that this will be a new foreign language for everyone, which is, for example, English at the moment. And I also think that it can be true. Another one told me that, for example, 40,000 software developers are missing from the Hungarian market. And yes, we can exactly see it, because currently we are developing curriculum for primary schools, for high schools, and we also started a college course in the university this year in February, and this is also a problem. We cannot find enough labor force for example, this education department of the company. Because the question is, who wants to be a teacher at the moment? And I hope so more and more people. Children are not so, the children are not so interested in the IT, the coding currently, because they are a little bit bored about the regular teaching of the coding in Hungary. So there are many schools at the moment who started, for example, maybe you heard about Logic School, who try to involve some kind of technologies like this. And I think this is a good example for the government sector too. So we need to renew thinking about how to teach that kind of coding and programming to the children, because I had the luck last December I could take part of a conference that was a high-level forum for EU and Africa, and I had the luck to hear the presentation, listen to the presentation of the CEO of BMW. He told me that EU thinks that Africa could be the next market for us if we are talking about the labor market, because there are many, many people there. The population of Africa is still growing, and there are very big concern about, okay, what could they do, for example, BMW, how could they involve Africa into their, for example, to plant factories in Africa, because this is not possible at the moment, because there are not enough labor force, educated labor force in Africa. So they would like to involve digitalization in this project, and the current thing is they are not the countries in Africa. For example, I had a comment of the Prime Minister of Nigeria, and the comment was something like, how could we solve teaching the digitalization to the teachers at the moment, because we don't have enough teachers at all in Nigeria for the basic education in Nigeria, because approximately 70% of the people who are in education in Nigeria are teachers, well-educated teachers. The other ones, they are just something like passion. They are passionate about education. So this is why we started with this one, and we had a very nice competition for children last week. It was last week. It was about who is the best team can use this tele-education drone and solve some, for example, special missions using only coding for control the drone itself. And it was one of my best examples. So the children are, I don't know, I cannot describe to you, because I know a teacher there, and I'm in touch with a teacher there, and he was totally amazed, because he could see something like a fun and interest in the eye of the children, and it will be carried by something like this kind of teaching, this kind of education will be carried something like this equipment. And what is the very end of the drone story? To start, thank you. To start getting closer the children to be a software engineer and to be involved in coding at all, because at the moment, currently, we need many software engineers, because as I told you, we are at the very end, at the very beginning of this whole sector. We are of the whole industry, or opening the industry itself, the drone industry itself. So first we need to somehow connect that kind of individual technologies, like we have drones, we have the sensors, we have, for example, the spraying drones that could operate in the fields, and we have the software technologies processing the data. And we have also the experts of that kind of territories, like agriculture, like special so-called doctors on the agriculture industry. And somehow we need to combine this whole thing. And the basic thing is data. The very basic thing is data, and the very next step will be collecting data by drones, but currently without software engineers we are not able to solve it at the moment. Because, for example, we have an ongoing project with an inspection, that is an inspection project for the power lines inspection, and they would like to see the company called MVM would like to see solve it fully autonomous way, because they have not enough labor force at the moment to gain data of the big towers, of the big pillars, because this is from one hand this is quite dangerous, because we are talking about high voltage, and on the other hand you need to go to very specific fields without any roads or without any environment which is acceptable by the average by most of the people. So this is why they would like to fly it with drones. But there's no specific solution for that, how to get as close as possible to the whole power lines and to the pillars as well, and it could be solved by the engineers. But there's another example. Let me find something like another presentation. So I just would like to show you some projects what we are involved at the moment. This is some kind of, this is the power line inspection. This is the basic thing. What is well known thing I mentioned to you about the capability of drones and drone technology currently. This is also some kind of monitoring and inspection. This is a little bit complicated because today totally forbidden to fly over that kind of facilities in Hungary. So first we need some approval from special ministries itself. So legislation is always a problem. It is another project because maybe you heard about it that many solar farms were planted in Hungary this year, and I need to be totally honest with you, we always face some problems during that kind of missions. Currently, we use thermal cameras for that. We can process the data what we can get from thermal cameras. Unfortunately, the capturing of the picture of the thermal camera is not fast enough for us at the moment, so the whole process is too slow, because we need to fly the drones with the lowest speed what is available, what is a real feature of the drones, and it make the whole monitoring, the whole inspection too slow, which means for a big one, we are talking about really huge one, solar farms, it could take 2 days, and this is not the right solution because they need something like ours. They require the solution within 1 day. We cannot talk about days, and this is technology, what is a hurdle at the moment. Maybe you have heard about, we have the cooperative partner of RU. RU is a very talented software engineer brigade in Hungary, and they would like to solve the totally autonomous gaining data within buildings, which is a little bit complicated because there's no GPS sign. within the warehouse itself, and we would like to use it for some kind of special missions where we can spare approximately 5 people for a warehouse, because they have some kind of special inventory processes. And it is also dangerous because they need to use something like these special vehicles, and they need to lift the employees to the top of that kind of special racks. And this is slow, and this is also dangerous on the other hand, because you can imagine, just for example, it was something like let's go forward to the next pillar, lift the employee and down, and forward, lift, down, so very slow. We can solve it within hours using the drones. I will show you the drones, which is very simple and small one. But we will also try it with the size of some kind of drones. So this is an ongoing project. Yes, we have a precision agriculture project in Somogy County, and the specialty of this project that we use, we would like to use, but unfortunately it is stopped at the moment by the government and special entities. We can fly in swarm, something like a swarm with spraying drones, 4 drones simultaneously, and we have the luck now to solve the spraying method on the whole areas, and not only in specific areas where, for example, there's an inspection, because this camera can show you, using it for monitoring, it can show you some special areas where, for example, inspection within the whole growing area, and you can fly the spraying drone there exactly over that kind of area, and you can spray and operate that mission. Using 4 drones simultaneously, you can spray the whole growing area if you want. And this is a very interesting project for National Ambulance Services. This is also an ongoing one. We had a presentation, a press conference with the National Ambulance Services. We would like to use drones with them in that kind of big traffic, in case of that kind of big traffic accident, because they can easily monitor their area with one drone, and we can broadcast the videos to a command center or something like that, so they can also follow what is happening at this area. They can control the specific teams, and on the other hand, they can get ready for this kind of rescue, arriving of this kind of rescue cars within, for example, the hospital. So this is an ongoing project, and we also think we will finish this project latest next year. So if you will see, I hope you will not see something happening like this on the highway or somewhere else, then you will see flying drones over that kind of territories. And of course, we are involved in that kind of operations. So, at the end, maybe I would show you some pictures. So this is the last one, because I just told you that we can see, we can identify some problems on the growing fields. Have you ever seen something like this before? Because it looks like a little bit messy. But yes, this is the picture taken by an RGB camera, but you have at the back side of your mobile phone. And this is what you can, where you can identify. The resolution is not the best here, but this is what can we identify that there's not enough. Chlorophyll is a special cell of a special thing within the cell of the healthy plant, and we could identify the problems where the spraying were not the right one on the growing field. And I can show you this one. This is maybe someone knows what could be these circles here.
Alien science.
Exactly. No, unfortunately, no precision watering of the field. This is a very expensive one, but this is a current topic in Hungary at the moment because we can feel it. Something is happening here, and you can see that here's the end of somewhere here is the end of this precision spraying of the field. But we can identify territories or special areas here. Here is the watering is too much. Here is not enough. So we can make it more precise by making monitoring with drones. Well, this is vineyard. Vineyard is the most complicated one what you can imagine, because there are so many problems with so spraying vineyard. You need to do it weekly or approximately weekly, because there are special infections of the vineyard, and you need to fly there continuously it means every week, and you need to go there and spray, but a little bit hard to identify what is a problem there, because it's very, very interesting. This is why we need the thermal camera for the plants too, because this part, what you can see here, this is approximately last June about noon time, and the sunshine and temperature was too hot for the vineyard itself, and we can identify that the wine is suffering. The wine is suffering by the extremely hot temperature, and this is one of my best example. So if you focus it on that territory, you will see that something is there, but on the other hand, we are talking about experts of the farming, and this is a road here, and the normal monitoring of this field is something like one person come to here or here and try to take a look around somewhere there. So this is how we do it currently. So there's mass infection here, and this can be identified. It is not easy to identify it by no RGB camera, but using our solutions. This is it, and maybe you can show you a small video. I hope so. Yeah, this is our spraying drone last year when it was not forbidden. On this territory, that was a project. So there were big growing fields here, around here, and we could test our solutions here at that bay or something like that. And we had very good results, because we could spare the liquid during the spraying. because this is also an example for that. This was an example that because the wheat is a very sensitive plant, and we try to save the growing field ezt most el kell mondjam nektek magyarul, mert ennek az angol kifejezését nem tudom. Gyomírtás drónnal, traktorral. And the final result is that we used approximately 1 liter liquid here, but the tractor on the other hand used 200 liters special liquids here for with the same result. Okay, finally, so to summarize the whole thing, we have special solutions carried by drones on many fields of the industries, talking about the governmental sector or the enterprisers, but the solutions are unfortunately not combined at the moment. So for combining that kind of technologies, we will need software engineers. This is why we have a cooperation with Duplitec University, and this is why we would like to sign some kind of cooperation with other universities. And we would like to start at the very entry level, I mean with the children, to present them that coding is a very good thing. Programming is something what not just sitting at the front of the monitor and typing at the keyboard, but you can control, for example, that kind of drones that we have. On the other hand, we would like to also involve other technologies from the robotics part, combining it somehow with AI and big data. And after that, we will be there somewhere there when drones will be something on a longer term. What is not a unique thing at the moment in this kind of industries, but it would be also involved in our everyday life. And yes, we are still at the entering phase, and this is why we need the engineers to help us carry out these solutions. By the way, the final forecast for the very end of my short presentation is a forecast coming from Hungarian Control. Maybe you know Hungarian Control. They control the whole air traffic here in Hungary. How many takeoffs of the drones can they identify today? How many drones can they see? The takeoffs, the number of takeoffs per day today. What could be the number?
0.
Sorry?
1 or 2 maximum.
The whole territory of Hungary, we are talking about the what? 1 or 2? No, they can identify approximately 800 to 900. This is 2019, and what is their forecast for 2025?
Triple.
No, not triple. 25,000 takeoff a day. 25,000 takeoff a day, and they measure by. They also would see a range, for example, split what is consumer and what is something like industrial, and they say it will be approximately 80% or 75 to 80% consumer or commercial use of really, I don't know why, and 20 to 25% industrial. I don't think so. It will be. This is my opinion. So I think it will be something like 60% the consumer and 40%, at least 40, the industrial. So yes, this is definitely growing. At the moment, globally, we are waiting for new technologies, for new legislation. But after 2020, it will be a really big boom. So yes, on a longer term, drones will be part of our everyday life. I'm pretty sure about that. Questions? Maybe you have questions.
Maybe first we should do. There's a special question from my side, as we are working on the safety critical side of engineering, let's say.
Okay.
And the main issue with drones at this point is that the technologies, the development methodologies, the software, the hardware elements that are really used in this equipment are far behind those compared to those that are used in safety critical systems.
Yeah.
And if we would like to have them flying autonomously, let's say, within a city or a dense populated area, then I think the legislation issues will be far more complicated than usually anticipated. Who will pay at the end if the drone will crash into the ground or hit somebody or kill somebody or hurt somebody? And I think there is no real answer to this, and this is why legislation is always lacking behind. And you said that maybe it will be out in 2020, but I think it will be really like kind of really not a strict regulation, but more like guidelines, and all the countries themselves will need to fill in the details.
Yeah.
And it will take a lot of additional time
Yeah.
and lobbying and everything like that to get to the point that you can have those.
So this is the usual thing, because it's happening always here. I think so first is the technology, and that it follows the legislation. So yes, it's an open topic since 2017, I guess, but yeah, we are in touch with Hungarian Control, for example, and Hungarian Control exactly sees what is currently happening. And the good news is that we had something like legislation for that in 2017. We, as the country Hungary, but we sent it to the EU to get feedback on it, or what EU thinks about it. And it was something like that. We received so many inquiries in this topic, said the EU. So stop on that stage, on the member state stage, and we will carry out something like a big one for the whole EU. And this is why we are still we're sitting and standing here, and we are talking about that we don't have the good legislation for that. On the other hand, Hungarian Control established a special hub, something like big companies like T-Systems and some other big members of the drone industry and some other like telecommunication industries involved into this hub, and they will be something like an advisor for the government. So this, of course, we will have only the entering phase till, I think, till next year. But we cannot stop there and just sit and enjoy the new legislation, because we need to amend it, I think, yearly or monthly or so on. So yes, it will be a dynamic thing, not a full static one. I think so, because the technologies will be so different. So on the longer term, we are talking about this form, this is a drone in our mind at the moment, and it has propellers, for example. But on a longer term, what will be the engine of a drone? What will be the power supply? Maybe it could be a hybrid one, or who knows. So yeah, I think legislation will always follow that kind of new technologies. So there's not. I don't know if I answered the questions or not, but the question or not, but
partly.
Partly, yeah.
Maybe my question would be that what was the most singular accident that happened here in Hungary that involved any kind of drones?
I think you know about it.
No, I don't know. What was the most singular? What was the biggest one? Let's say the most
Accident.
Yes.
It was 1 year or 2 years ago. as far as I remember, on the Szabadság Bridge, an accident happened. The drone, maybe a Phantom series drone, hit a car. But that was the most serious one as far as I know.
Mm-hmm. And anything happened? So personal injury or anything like that, or
yeah, it was something like tourists from I don't know from Asia. So I think nothing happened after that.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't hear any news about it after that. But of course. For example, insurance also a question at the moment, because this is also a must. Less people know but of course you will need something like that kind of okay from special entities to fly your drone at the moment, some kind of certificate or something like that. To fly your drones, and you need to inform the right entity about it 30 days or 45 days before you would like to take off on at the area. But on the other hand, you will need special insurance for yourself and not your drone at the moment. So, but this is something like if you cause any trouble with your drones, you are responsible for it. Yeah.
As the owner or the producer?
No, not. Okay, there's another cup of tea. Yes, currently as the owner of the drone, and on the other hand, you need that kind of special certificate to use.
You need a flight license for the.
No, currently there's no flight license. There's no flight license at the moment. But the flight or what kind of license do you mean? For example, you have a driving license. If you would like to drive a car, you need a driving license. At the moment, it seems that the coming legislation will allow you to fly without kind of permission, without kind of certificate. But a license is another cup of tea. So it will be linked to the size of your drone. So when it will be over, for example, 4 kilograms, you will need definitely a driving or flying license, or I can say yes, a license for the drone. But currently, you will be not forced till 4 kilograms. I think you will not forced to go for permission to fly over this kind of area. Of course, there are some kind of limitations. For example, you cannot fly over 120 meters, and I think the maximum distance between you and the drone can be maximum 500 meters. But currently we are talking about the coming legislation. Let's see what will be the final version of it. And it will be about the licenses as well. Because, for example, DJI also has a drone, but drones maximum takeoff weight is approximately 40 kilograms. 40 in the air. So yeah, that's a risk. Yes, it's a risk. But this is not. I think this is not the hottest topic at the moment. That kind of autonomous driving of the cars are the most hottest currently.
Yeah, but there's quite a lot of similarity in this aspect.
Yes.
We will be blamed if something happens.
And the cars is different in that aspect, that it's a bit more, it's less complicated than a drone, because a drone can cause a lot more damage, I think, because it can go everywhere. And if you have big like agricultural drones that can lift 40 kilograms or so, that's a huge risk, because it doesn't just follow a road, but it can fly everywhere, in your garden, in your house, in any building.
Currently, the vision positioning is and not only the vision positioning, but the obstacle avoidance is the part of the drone at the moment. So this is not a future technology, this is built in the drones today. So I think, on the other hand, if you can solve the communication among the other drones and the other flying, for example, planes and helicopters, this is also a must. But yeah, this is not a big problem. This is really not a big problem. And the communication is also not a big problem because telco companies are here and waiting for jumping this business with 5G technology, because they are currently seeking all the options and possibilities how to use the full capacity of 5G. Drones would be one.
It's not a big problem as far as I see because we don't have a lot of drones now. But if the air gets crowded, it's a big problem. It's a lot harder to manage that.
I think we can take these questions offline. So thanks again for the presentation.